Hey guys, how's it going? I am Danconia and welcome to the Overwatch World Cup Roundup. Yes, it's good to be back, and we are just a few days away from Blizzcon. And you know what that means? We're a few days away from the Overwatch World Cup Finals. Oh yeah. Right. 8 teams. Battle it out. One title. Still owned by South Korea. Is that going to change this year? Who knows? South Korea are certainly favourites. But I want to see someone change that. Come on. Some things have changed since the qualifiers though. That's something we must note. United Kingdom now have an extra Overwatch League registered player. Crews now registered with the Paris team coming into Overwatch League for Season 2. But France can trump that, because they now have another 3 registered Overwatch League players, all of which are coming in for Paris, and soon is now a Paris player instead of a Valiant player. So it's all getting rather interesting. Now, as you might recall from our qualifiers, our 8 teams are South Korea, obviously, Finland, the United States, Canada, China, Australia, France, and the United Kingdom. So, where do these teams rank? Where do we think that? How do you think they're going to do? There's been a replacement on the United Kingdom roster. Their old main tank, Christopher, has now taken a step back, and it will be Fusions playing main tank for the United Kingdom at the finals. And South Korea have also made a few changes, bringing in Fleta, Fury and Animo for Sabiobi, Mecha and Arc, which is rather interesting and quite an overhaul. So, South Korea dropping Sabiobi is an interesting one, I must admit. That's really interesting. But I'm not going to discuss the South Korea changes. South Korea have a strong roster. They always will do. They are South Korea. Come on. But there are a lot of other strong rosters here. The US, they took South Korea real close last year. So, could the US finally do it and beat South Korea? Why not? Could France do it? France have some really good players. Unco, AKM, Soon, Bembest. They are fantastic players. Poco Bombs, come on. Canada, Shawfort, Agilities, Mangitude, No, XQC, Banny, Crimzo. Fantastic players on these rosters. Finland have got Taimu, Linksa, Big Goose, Shaz, Fraggy. Huh? Zappis? You know. And then you've got the teams that perhaps don't have as well-known rosters, not Overwatch League rosters as you might call them. China with Crystal, Shy, Leave, Late Young. Guju? Sorry. Sky and Yveltal? Yveltal? Australia with Huss, Yuki, CKM, Punk, Trill, Akarakan, and obviously Custer, because who can forget Custer? And the United Kingdom with Kib, Mikey A, KSP, Smex, Fusions, Cruise, Boombox. Fusions, Mikey A and Kib all play for the British Hurricane, who are Contenders Season 1 champions, but are also taking part in Contenders Trials, although they have kind of clean sweep that at the moment, after having a poor Contenders Season 2. So, there's a lot of promise in these rosters. Now, there's some big questions to be answered though. Obviously, I started out with it, can anyone dethrone South Korea? That's the biggest question of all. Can the United Kingdom not have a massive flop like they did last time? But there's a big difference with this World Cup compared to the last World Cup in my opinion. And that is, there hasn't been a massive change in meta compared to the qualifiers. Because last time, the qualifiers were Heavy Dive in 2017. Heavy Dive, Winston, Diva, Genji Tracer, Zen, Lucio was everywhere. And then all of a sudden, between the qualifiers and the finals, we had the Mercy rework. and Mercy took over everything. And for some teams, especially the UK team, that really didn't go down well when you didn't have a Mercy main. If you didn't have a Mercy main, you weren't going to do very well at the last World Cup. But now these teams have worked this out. Crews can play Mercy for the United Kingdom. There is a Mercy player on all of these teams. You have to have a Mercy player now. You can't dismiss that. Your supports these days have to be fairly flexible because we are in a really diverse support meta, which is nice to see. And hopefully we're going to see some crazy team comps as well, because that's always a nice thing to see at the World Cup. Anyway, I should get on to some fixtures, right? So the first quarter-final involves the Battle of the Pond, as I like to call it. November the 2nd at 7:15 GMT. Now, if I get that right, that's 8:15 in Europe. Will be the USA taking on Great Britain. Now, I can only see one winner of this, and it's not the United Kingdom. You know, I'd love to see good old Blighty win it, but nah. I've got to go for the US for this one. If the United Kingdom knock out the US in the quarterfinals, that would be one of the biggest shocks in World Cup history. It certainly, I think, would be the biggest shock in the World Cup finals history, although it was a big shock Sweden not even getting there. But you can't really look past the USA for this, although I would love to see Britain do it. After that, whenever that game decides to finish, I've got to look through my order of proceedings here. 9:15 GMT, 10:15 at night. I must be adamant that this is at night, evening. In Europe, we have France taking on Canada. Now, honestly, I think this is the best game of the quarterfinals. I cannot call a winner for this. This is a crazy, crazy good fixture. This could be a final. It could be a semi-final. There is going to be some crazy Overwatch on show in that game. That is a game not to be missed. I can't stress that enough. France, Canada. Man, and you've got to back whichever team wins that, they will face either China or Finland in the semi-finals. So you have to back one of those teams to get to the final. Canada were finalists last year, and they gave South Korea a good run in the final. So I can't call a winner for that. I like to be able to predict, and I probably will do predictions nearer the time, but I say nearer the time, it's only a few days away. But France, Canada, I cannot call that. There are so many great players on those teams. Even, you might say, well, XQC, he's unassigned, he's not an Overwatch League player, but he's still a fantastic player. If you're an Overwatch World Cup player, you're a fantastic player. You can get past that. You may have your opinions about XQC, and with a certain name popping up in the Overwatch League, you can't ever rule anything out. Overwatch League Roundup coming up on the transfers, by the way. Oh, that's going to be a good video. Anyway, France Canada is just so difficult to call. Man, I just can't. I want to watch it. I want the game now. I want to watch it. It's going to be some fantastic Overwatch, I think. Then after that, after I stop gushing over the France Canada game, we have whoever might play them in the semi-finals. China versus Finland. This should be, providing that France Canada doesn't overrun, but I could see France Canada going to 5 maps, so it probably could overrun. Should be at 11:15 GMT, but that will be midnight in Europe, so you're looking at the 3rd of November in Europe, which happens to be my birthday, so I've got a lot of Overwatch World Cup to watch over my birthday, which is really nice. China, Finland. Now, China was a surprise package for me going into the qualifiers. They did very well. They managed to knock out Sweden. Was Sweden in their group now? I'm trying to think. Yes, China and Australia qualified out of their group. And Sweden was in that group, and Sweden failed miserably. Sweden, I believe, got 3rd place last year. So that was a bit of a shock. China have to be good to win that group. You cannot deny that. China-Finland should be a really close match. On paper, I would give Finland the edge. But that could go either way. But I think, I'm sticking my neck out here, whoever wins that match gets knocked out in the semi-finals, because they'll play either France or Canada. And I think France or Canada, either of them is a better team than China or Finland. So I think Finland will be a semi-finalist against one of the other two, France or Canada, but it's difficult to call. At this stage of the game, it is very, very difficult to call. Apart from the other side of the bracket, where you can hands down say United States have got to be favourites. And the other game, which is on at 1:15 in the morning GMT, 2:15 in the morning Europe. Oh man, it's going to be a long night. South Korea versus Australia. You Aussies never get it easy, do you? I feel so sorry for you, I really do. You can't see past South Korea. You really can. They are the holders. No one has ever won the World Cup apart from South Korea. You have to expect them to be in the final. If Australia knock out South Korea, I don't think we'd ever see a bigger shock. So, okay, let's take this to a bit more of a broader spectrum here, shall we? I believe everywhere Overwatch, the pro scene is catching up to what South Korea can produce, but I don't believe we're quite there yet. A big thanks to the Overwatch League for that, because it's closing the gap, but I don't believe we're quite where we need to be in terms of saying South Korea are beatable by any of these 8 teams. They're not. There are a select few teams in this 8 teams that I could see giving South Korea a difficult time and perhaps beating them. 3, in fact. United States, France and Canada. I can't see the other ones giving them a hard... Well, I can see them giving a hard time. I can't see them beating South Korea. So, yes, I would expect South Korea to beat Australia. I'm sorry, Australia. I would love to see you do it. I would love to see the United Kingdom beat the United States and Australia beat South Korea, and then have a semi-final of Australia versus the United Kingdom will be absolutely fantastic. Boy, that would be awesome. It really would. And I'm sorry, because I know most of my viewers are from the United States. We're going to have a lot of conflicts over the next week or so. Sorry, but we are. Oh, this is going to be a difficult one. But yeah, I can't see... I've got to say the semi-final is the United States versus South Korea, which in some respects is sad, because I wanted to see the United States take on South Korea in the final. I think that will be a blockbuster final. But if you're going to get France or Canada in the final, I still think it will be a really, really cool final anyway. So, the semi-finals will take place the next day on November the 3rd, that is the Saturday. The first semi-final will start at 4:30 GMT in the afternoon. That is 5:30, I believe, in Europe. And then the second semi-final, depending on when the other one finishes, about 6:30 in the afternoon GMT, 7:30 in the evening in Europe. And then the final and the third place match. The third place match will take place afterwards at 8:30 in the evening GMT, 9:30 in Europe. And then the final will take place at 11:15 in the evening GMT. That will be midnight in Europe. Obviously, I can't tell you who's going to be in the final. I literally can't. 4 teams I can see in the final: United States, South Korea, France, Canada. I could see any of those teams in the final. I just don't know who. I can't call France, Canada. I can't call the United States versus South Korea if that is the semi-final we get. So it's going to be really interesting. And what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping if I get enough time, and it's going to be a real rush, I want to get a little mini Overwatch World Cup roundup between the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, so we can get a bit of enlightenment on what's going on. It won't be a long one, but I'm hoping I can get one out. That's all I'm saying. But because the quarterfinals will finish so late, I can't guarantee it. I just can't. But that is the Overwatch World Cup roundup. It is nice to be back. I must admit, it's nice to have some pro Overwatch to watch. Apart from contenders, I don't dismiss you contenders, I just can't cover it all. There's so much of it. There is obviously prize money at stake here, you know, but your favourites are South Korea, your second favourites I would say the United States, and then there's a tussle between France and Canada. But I want to see a inverted commas minnow do well. Finland, China, Australia, United Kingdom. I'd like to see someone pop off massively and cause an upset, because wouldn't that make it interesting? Wouldn't that make it interesting? So there's something else I should also mention while we're here, and that is the fact that there are more ways to watch Overwatch esports now. More specifically the World Cup. We finally have the Overwatch World Cup viewer. So, what does that mean? Well, it's an in-game client which allows us to watch the games live. Not only that, it allows us to choose who we want to watch. You want to watch it from the perspective of Custer's Anna or Zen or Mercy? You can do that. You can just watch his view of things. You want to watch Fury play Diva? Go ahead, just pick Fury. You want to watch Fleta play Widowmaker? Go ahead, do it. You can finally have a choice over what you want to watch. There is also a much requested top-down view of the whole map when watching a match, so you can see where everyone's positioned. And these are live, obviously, as the match is going on. This is the stuff that some of the stuff we thought we were going to get in the package for the Overwatch League that you bought through Twitch last year, and we didn't get it. But now we are getting it through the Overwatch World Cup viewer. This is a beta, and if you want to get your hands on it, basically all you need to do is go into the Battle.net launcher, and when you select your region, so Europe, Asia, America, and you've also got the PTR, there will now be the World Cup viewer, the Overwatch World Cup viewer. Click on that, install it. It's about 14 gigabytes, and you'll have it ready for you when it goes live. At the moment, if you click on it, you'll go in there and it'll say server failed or something like that. That's because it's not live yet. It will be live on November the 2nd at 12:15 PT, which is 7:15 PM in the UK, which is 8:15 PM in Europe on November the 2nd, the day the Overwatch World Cup kicks off. So basically, it goes live when the first game goes live. It should be really interesting. I don't know about the commentary. I presume there is commentary. I don't know. But I definitely recommend going and checking it out, because I certainly will be. This is something that not only makes the experience interactive, it means that you can improve on your own game. Say I want to improve as an Ana player. I can go in, I know that I've got the choice of the best Ana players in the world, and I can just watch them and watch what they do and learn from them. This is fantastic if you just love getting better at Overwatch, because it's just a wealth of knowledge to see someone of a higher skill than you play. It really, really is. And for some people, they may just want to muck around and watch the way they want to watch instead of the way that it's broadcast. And if that's you, then this is for you as well. I hope that this gets implemented in the Overwatch League. I don't know whether there might be a bit of sticky ground because the Overwatch League is sold to broadcasters like ESPN and Disney XD. So there might be a bit of problems with it being implemented in the Overwatch League. Perhaps it will be implemented through the Overwatch League ticket or whatever it was. That's part of the you can buy through Twitch. Maybe it'll be implemented through that. It'll give you access or an access code or something. But this does pave way to a bigger replay system that I go on about in another episode, in another video, in the actual game for you. So it's well worth checking out, because all the stuff you do in this is data helping the devs create us a full-on blown replay system for us, which is something I think pretty much everyone wants. So get in, check it out, and it should be pretty bloody awesome. So that's it for the Overwatch World Cup roundup. I will hopefully be back for about a 5-minute one after the quarterfinals. And the Overwatch League roundup will be back for a roundup of transfers and new teams very, 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 very soon, because there's a lot to talk about. Namely, a certain Danish player. And some new teams, obviously, to talk about, with some new rosters and some very, very interesting news. And the Overwatch League will start later than it did last season, so I think it's about time we discussed the format of the new season. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.